G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an Instigating Gauss Minigun with 50% more limb damage and 90% reduced weight. I've been grabbing 2 of these per day from, getting all of the script from the script machines and then doing dailies to get up the other 50, and I've found something that's somewhat doable. I'm also just, clearing out some of these 2mm electromagnetic cartridges because they're heavy and I don't want to be running around with batteries included forever. So this thing is going to be a little bit bugged. With weapons that fire super fast, the instigating effect sometimes carries over to basically when the enemies die. If you shoot fast enough and get enough damage on to kill your enemies, the instigating effect lasts the entire kill, which is good for weapons like this, which have a somewhat low base damage. Obviously, they've got the fire rate normally to back up the damage to bring the DPS to an acceptable level. It's also got the limb damage thing, which has proven to be buggy in the past. So perhaps one of the more broken Gauss miniguns, the broken transmission guns that I'll ever use, but we'll have to see how it goes. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to chuck on some heavy gunner perks. We saw what the damage was like before this. We don't need to examine that too closely. It's not the first rodeo with the old Gauss minigun, so we'll chuck on Bloody Mess as well. And for some reason, I still think that Demo Expert does boost your damage, so you've got the explosive projectiles, which are a problem for a Scorched Beast Queen, but, any regular old mobs in the game you'll be laughing at. Okay, so here we are at Moody's Plaza in Earth Dimension C137. We've got some power armor skins. It's the Scabber paint, but it's basically T51 under there. You can just see it. It's cool, I guess. It's raidery. It's got all this metal coming out of it. I think I like this skin better than the deluxe content they have. And look at that accuracy. We didn't get that accuracy last time because we were using a 2-shot, which was, a little bit of a problem. And you can see, when I was shooting that guy, my headphones are on backwards, that, the first couple of shots there were greatly boosted, and then it dropped off. So it takes the game a while to actually stop giving you the instigating legendary effect, and that basically means you can shred these guys with double damage if you're hitting them fast enough to kill them, which, even with their health pool of around 700-ish, well, you can chop through that pretty easily with the rate of fire. And yes, I've got the tri-barrel on this time because, as it turns out, the penta-barrel is just fucking worthless, so there's that. Anyways, so 180 and 17 versus just 78 from the bloodied minigun, so definitely doing good in terms of damage. Its ammo efficiency is quite nice, obviously lends well to its legendary effects here, making it better. Anyways, some range combat will ensue, and yes, it is very easy. If we, bother to sneak with this thing, it'll be even more crazy, but honestly, don't have to, but I'm going to. Yeah, when you're whacking super mutants for 400 damage a shot, when you're using a weapon like this, they're not going to last very long at all. So, it's powerful. It's bugged, but powerful. Don't think we've seen too much of the limb damage thing proc, but honestly, these guys aren't standing up to enough damage to see that proc, so yeah, whatever. And if you are wondering, yes, I like this thing better than my 2-shot fire rate Gauss minigun. Yeah, 2-shot is actually garbage. Yeah, it's kind of overrated. I see a lot of people in Facebook groups still talk about how good TSE is, and no, it's not. It's not good. We've moved on. We're doing bloodied fire rate now. Instigating is good though, if you've got a super high rate of fire weapon like this. I mean, this isn't super high. I think its stat is 109 versus a minigun's with the spin-up barrel 209, so it's not blazingly fast, but it's fast enough to the point where we can get the double damage proccing for longer than it should, which, should be obvious because we managed to proc it with, I think, was it just a standard or fire rate instigating 50 cal machine gun? It was one of the other, but yeah, you can do it. And you can get the instigating legendary effect happening with the explosions too, which, this thing having explosives means your aim doesn't have to be as good. So you don't have to even shoot these guys and hit them directly, and I'm still killing them super fast, which I guess might be a huge plus for some people. But I don't know, call me old-fashioned, but I'd actually like guns rewarding you for actually, using skill, putting your bullets where they need to go rather than bouncing splash damage. And whilst you can say, well, you get a damage penalty for this, so there's no incentive to keep on doing it. Well, when I'm killing stuff this fast, I can just turn my brain off and shoot at their feet, and that's them dead. I'm not going to do that though, because, you know, you always want to be able to aim. He says, as he's shooting at absolutely nothing. But yeah, the splash damage can carry with these weapons, so, you know, if you suck at shooting, good for you. You've got a weapon that you can possibly use here. But still would prefer the old LMG bullet hose here. The barrel spin up is a big turn off, but, you know, once she gets going, she really gets going. So there's not too much else to tell about this thing in terms of its damage versus these super mutants. It's bringing them down very, very easily. Whether we can, you know, keep this massive killing power going on against ghouls will be a little bit harder to judge than normal, because all of the ghouls post Wastelanders patch have been lazy. I'm gonna blow up the parking lot and see what happens then. Okay, time to annoy all of the ghouls. I'll blow up all of their pre-war cars. Please tell me that that's elicited some sort of response out of these guys. Fucking hell. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether these were intentionally changed so they wouldn't swarm unsuspecting players, but, you know, I like ghouls having a little bit of aggression. It makes it slightly more interesting. We'll just have to do the tour of duty here and just wake them all up manually. I've also noticing that there's some vertibots flying around, so we'll add them to the shit list and kill those right quick. Ah, Wendigo, I want your screws. Hold still. Hold still. I want those lucky charms. Maybe I'll get them later. Although the adrenal reaction would help a little bit. Okay, we've got a big old mag capacity. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, pretty good in the crowd controls. Blue explosions everywhere. I mean, it'd be cool if they were just for effect, but a little bit of precision in my weapons, rewarding me for my good aim, would be nice. Even though it's precisely what it's doing, but, you know, I just like to annoy people who think the explosive is actually a good thing. It isn't. And basically, if you're going to fight a Scorched Beast Queen, it'll bite you badly, and that's why I don't think these weapons are all that shit hot. That's just kind of the bottom line here. If it can't do well against a Scorched Beast Queen, then what are you doing using it? I've got a very if you ain't first, you're last mentality, and this weapon definitely ain't first, so therefore it is last. Speaking of, let's grab these lucky charms. Ow, my brains. So Bethesda have done a thing with these weapons, and you'll notice that it's got the clandestine paint on it, which makes it black, cleans it up a little bit. It's an improved paint job. I quite like it, but it's interesting for them to release it despite the fact how long it takes to actually grind for this thing. I guess it's for the hardcore players, and, you know, something for the players who haven't quite made it there yet to, you know, look forward to, something for them to work towards. You gotta grind, and then you gotta spend the money. You just gotta spend some money after the grind to get stuff, because ZeniMax is greedy or something. Anyways, yeah, it's kind of perplexing to me how much time you gotta, you know, give to grab these weapons, and then they're selling skins for them like maybe a couple weeks after release. It takes longer than that to get these things. I actually like the minigun reloading because you slap the thing. It's quite nice, especially in third person. Anyways, so we're at Nerd Rage now. We should have close to full adrenaline, if not full. 217, 21. Yeah, it's pretty lame, isn't it? If we sneak against Swan over here, though. Oh, wow, melted! So despite not having the super highest rate of fire of, you know, the rapid firing heavy guns like the LMG or a minigun or a Gatling laser, I still think this gets that limb damage bug, because technically every shot you are hitting is hitting them twice, once with the, you know, bullet actually hitting them, and then the second time with the explosion, which, you know, is just recipe for bugging out your damage. You know, I would have thought Bethesda would have locked it down by now, but they kind of haven't, which is interesting. Yeah, okay. There it was. This is possibly one of the buggiest combinations for a Gauss minigun, eh? There you go, slap that thing. Slap that Chinese piece of shit. I actually have no idea if this thing's supposed to be Chinese or not. People said that it was, so I just kind of went with it. It does make sense, though, for China to develop these Gauss weapons, because obviously what they do is they fire these tiny little projectiles at like speeds that are much beyond rifle velocity, and the aim there is to penetrate through the Americans' power armor, which is obviously one of their goals because Americans fucking crushed China with power armor. So, you know, they need a counter to that. So, you know, making these weapons that could penetrate through the power armor, having these tiny little projectiles, you know, kind of like how a pin can go through a jacket, right? If I were to put it that way. So, yeah, there's that. Now, these Scorch Beasts are going to be little bitch. Just kind of fly away. It's okay, we can get them eventually. We've got the power to, you know, kill them with sustained fire, but we're going to be a little bit penalized for this. But here's the problem with the Gauss minigun in terms of its use in China. They haven't got power armor, so how are they going to carry it around? I guess they might mount it on a tank. But remember, their tank designs back in Fallout 3, the Chimera tanks that they used in Operation Anchorage, you could kill it with a shotgun. Just, you know, 12 gauge buckshot and blows up an entire tank. So, yeah, whoops. Might want to go back to the drawing board on that one, you commie sons of bitches. Speaking of communists, I believe that these Scorch dudes are, so, you know, we've got to put them in the ground. Say hello to Satan for me. I'll be back in hell, and I don't know how long it's going to take me to die, but I'll kill you again. Heaps of times in hell. Over and over. Good fun. Be like a Doom guy, except I'm fighting communists. It'd be great. Anyway, so we've got about, I don't know, half of the ammo left. If I pull the Scorch Beast out here, it'd be great. It'd be really good, but no show. That's okay. We've already killed enough already. And I think you get the point of this thing. It's been quite quick. Definitely superior to the two-shot version that I had. And rightly so, I'd script that one, you know, the day after I recorded the botched attempt at a Scorched Beast Queen. This thing might have it because of that limb damage nonsense. Yeah, you could probably get away with it, but it'll probably take too long, to be honest. I don't know. If you're interested, I might bother checking it out, but I think I'm going to leave this one there, and it's weightless, so I might keep it around until I've got some sort of bloodied one to use, but my god, you don't need bloodied to make these things powerful, that's for sure. Anyways, thank you for watching, I'll see you later.